Diary of St. Francis de Sales, November 11th. Never marvel at distractions and dryness, which are effects of the sensitive and irrational part of us, over which you cannot freely exert control. The cause of this malady does not justify renouncing Holy Communion, as no one can gather your spirit as its king can. Nothing can warm it more than the sun. Nothing can sweeten it more than his balm. There is no remedy. Having renounced worldly consolations, we must also renounce those of the Spirit, for this is God's will, and we must live and die for God. Spiritual Letters. On November 11th, 1622, St. Francis de Sales celebrated the Mass of St. Martin with his beloved daughters of the Visitation in Bely. Many attendees claimed to have seen him at the altar, surrounded by such a radiant splendor that it seemed he was more in paradise than in that humble chapel of the monastery. When he entered the parlor, our saint expressed how overjoyed he was to see his doves living in such a humble setting. After Mass, he met Madame De Roi, who was with her little girl, about 5 or 6 years old. Francis approached them, caressed the child, and although he had never seen her before, he called her by name, which greatly surprised her mother. Then he drew the sign of the cross on the girl's forehead with his thumb and said to her mother, "Do you know what I am doing? I am blessing little Mary, so that one day she may become a daughter of the Visitation of Holy Mary, and then she will be my good and dear daughter Mary." These words came true in the life of that innocent girl. From that blessing, she grew in virtue and eagerly awaited the time to join the nuns of St. Mary, where she became a true daughter of the Holy Founder, just as he had predicted. While our saint lived, pious souls were like sunflowers, always seeking the splendor of this sun of paradise. A lady from Saint Rambert, whose life and virtues were extraordinary, knowing that the holy bishop was in Bely, went there to seek his advice regarding the inner graces she received from God. He approved of her entering the monastery and conversed with her for about 3 or 4 hours. This conversation was held at full volume, since the lady was hard of hearing. She, deeply embarrassed, apologized for inconveniencing him by making him speak so loudly. He replied with a well-known phrase frequently used by our saint: "What does it matter if I am inconvenienced, if I can do something that is consoling and useful for others?" Upon leaving the interview, he told the superior, "I have spoken with a soul favored by heaven." And the good lady in turn said, "I cannot believe it, no. He cannot be a man. He is an angel that God has sent to me." Before leaving his daughters, our saint confessed them all and gave them communion. He then spoke individually with each of them, especially with the novice, Sister Claudia Simpliciana Fardel. Their conversation was very edifying and at the same time kind. As soon as the nun saw him, she began to cry. Francis wanted to know the cause of her tears, and she, with all simplicity, said, "Monsignor, you will die this year." "What are you saying, my dear Simpliciana?" said the bishop, looking at her with a joyful and sweet face. "I will die this year." "Yes, Monsignor, but I beg you to ask God and the Blessed Virgin that this does not happen." "Oh, my daughter, do not ask me this, for I will never do it." Then she said, "But I will ask the Lord and the Virgin to postpone taking you for a while, to leave you with your poor daughters for the establishment of the order and the good of the whole church." With great affection, our saint told her, "Do not do this, my dear Simpliciana. I truly beg you. And what, my dear daughter, would you not be happy for me to go and rest? I am already very heavy and weak. My poor legs barely support me. Do not worry, for in another way, You can do very well without me. You have the constitutions of the order that specify everything in detail. I leave you your Mother de Chantal, who suffices for everything. And also, my dear daughter, we should not trust in mortal men, but in the living God, who gives abundantly to all what they need. It is not the one who plants or waters who makes the plants grow and bear fruit, but only God who blesses the labors and makes them fruitful. Many other predictions could be enumerated that Francis made about his imminent death, but these should suffice to demonstrate how God favored him, even in this, with divine insights. Diary of St. Francis de Sales. Reflection on November 11th. The story of November 11th, 1622, featuring St. Francis de Sales, is a testament to his deep faith, humility, and ability to touch the lives of those around him. His presence at the Mass, surrounded by a heavenly glow, symbolizes the divine impact he had on his community, and underscores the importance of faith and vocation as drivers of change in our lives. The encounter with Madame De Roi and her young daughter, whom he prophetically blessed, highlights Francis's ability to see beyond the present and his connection to the divine. This act not only sealed the spiritual destiny of the girl by integrating her into the religious community, but also illustrates how the blessings and words of a spiritual guide can have a profound transformative effect. It invites us to consider how we act as guides and role models in our own community, planting seeds of faith and hope in future generations. Moreover, the encounter with the lady from Saint-Rambert demonstrates Francis's dedication to serving others, regardless of personal sacrifice. His famous phrase, "What does it matter to be inconvenienced if I can do something to serve as consolation and utility for others," encapsulates his life of selfless service. This episode challenges us to look beyond our personal comforts and to find ways to console and help others, even at the cost of our own inconveniences. Finally, the dialogue with Sister Claudia Simpliciana Fardel reveals Francis's serene acceptance of his own mortality. Rather than avoiding the conversation about his death, he faces it with humor and sweetness, reaffirming his faith that his spiritual legacy and community will endure without him. His conversation is a reminder that our purpose transcends our physical lives and that we must trust in the divine plan, living with the assurance that our actions on earth will continue to have a lasting impact.